Okay, I'm back with more of the practical application of nature journaling, for us anyway. Hey, that was a very, very good resource that she shared. You know, there's so many things we use we don't think about sharing, and I've really enjoyed the Amazon Prime Music app. So that's great. I love all the things that we get to find out about with this Homeschool Scopes TV. Very encouraging. If anybody's joining, welcome, and welcome replay viewers. And I am Hilda Rebecca, and you can find me mostly on Instagram. I do post a lot of our nature journaling and nature walking and a lot of our Charlotte Mason schooling on my Instagram. And family stuff too. So it's not all school, it's my everything post. So join Homeschool Scopes TV if you haven't. If you're here and you're a schooler and looking at Periscope. And if you, oh good. I'm going to share some more practical stuff about the way we do it. And everybody does it differently. Yes, new grandbaby, yay! And check out Leah's posts. She did some fabulous ones on nature journaling recently on the Charlotte Mason Show Facebook group. You can get the links to those. Oh, and also on the nature journaling type thing, check out Nature Pal Exchange on Instagram at Nature Pal Exchange, and then Allison did some posts on how that works, some periscopes on how that works. And you're going to be starting the new one at the end of this month, right? The new exchange. I think we're actually going to take part. I asked Carter and he said, yay, he wanted to. So I had to explain it to him. But and I told my boys, yeah, sign-ups at the end of this month. So we're hoping we get some from some places, some stuff we don't see around here. And I hope we can find something interesting enough to share, you know, that can be mailed. So we'll look at that. So my first part I talked about, we are in eastern North Carolina, about an hour and a half east of the capital of Raleigh and about an hour and a half west of the beach, of the ocean. So nice little place. A little bit too far away from the mountains, but we still travel up there sometimes. We're about 4.5 hours away from Biltmore. Yes, if you watch my catch, my very first introduction scope, I talk about my accent, and the story behind my accent is quite funny. Anyway, I was sharing in the first scope about my nature journaling journey and how it has progressed and the struggle that I have with color and what I've done to try to overcome that. Everybody has gifts and everybody has things that are harder to overcome and take a little bit more effort. For me, is color, is perception. I have a hard time seeing in perception. I can draw things that are flat. I've had to work really hard to try to get the depth of things, and the more I work, I see more improvement in that. Like drawing a flower, it looked flat. It's hard to get it to look like it's real, but it's, you know, it's a journey and it's work. Yeah, I can draw flat things. That's why it's a lot easier for me. Also, I said it's easier to draw from a photograph because the birds don't move, but another reason is that they're flat on the photograph, so it makes it so much more easier for me to draw from a photograph than from a real bird. So I don't feel guilty at all looking at the Google images, and I do try to find an image that very closely reflects what I saw. Like, you know, there's different birds in different seasons look different. They're, you know, in the wintertime they're going to be fluffed up and poofy, and you know, I try to find pictures on Google to use for guidance for drawing that closely reflect what we saw in real life when we were out and observing nature, and a lot of it through the window. I heard somebody said they've had storms. Was it you, Allison? Somebody said they've had storms lately and have been doing a lot of window watching. In the wintertime, that's mostly what we do is window nature study. We vigorously feed the birds, and they come right up on our porch, and we watch them and do a lot of winter study. And when we do walk out, we try to look at the branching patterns of trees and different things like that in the winter. But I'm very excited to see buds on the tree, and my boys competed in North Carolina. We have an Envirothon, and they let homeschoolers participate, and they made it to state, so they'll be able to compete in state at the end of April. And it's very hard to identify a tree with no leaves on it. We found that out. So hopefully by the end of April, there'll be more trees. That's really a whole nother subject, doing something through the public school world. Some of the questions on their tests just, it's just weird what they want the children to know and what they think is important on the test. And it's like, it's just strange. It's strange. I'm so glad that we have the opportunity to do school the way we do, and that I know they're making connections with the creation and not having to be stressed about remembering like the branch, the place in the capital of our state that founded the Wildlife Center. I don't know. Who cares? I want them to have a connection to the trees. I don't need them to know those type of facts. So, Carter, I was talking about, it's crazy. Carter, what is my artist who is very self-critical, and I try to encourage him just to, try, and he just blows me away with what he draws. And I don't think I should have gotten his last year's journal, because I posted a picture of it. His little, because I had his struggles of trying to draw a bird and trying to get the right shape, and I shared how we just watched a video and just grasped one idea from that and tried to apply it. Like whenever you're starting on a new journey, don't try to encompass everything that you learn and that you're reading about all at once. Pick one idea, go with that, get that good, and then try another idea. So for him, just getting the position of the birds, the head and the tail in the right place, and the feet in the right place, is what he's been trying to accomplish. And he was still 6 when he drew this, but this is one of my favorite, his little indigo bunting with 4 legs. I mean, how cute is that? So for him, he basically draws what he sees and he writes the word. And sometimes if he works really hard and focuses, this will be his copy work for the day. And he knows that. He knows to apply himself and look, and he will not, he's only 7. He will not have to write anything else the rest of the day unless he chooses to himself. And so then the praying mantis was difficult for him, but look how, you see how he had to replace where the legs were? So I helped him, I'm like, let's draw, where's his head? Let's draw a line for his body. Now, where do you, look at it and tell me where you think his legs go. So he put it here, and I'm like, well, look at it. Is that where he was? He might have turned 7 when he did this. Yes, and that's the idea, that he's making his mind focus, and he's making a connection. Well, first he spent about an hour watching this praying mantis out in the yard. I posted a couple of pictures of him on Instagram of him just looking at it, and he's my friend, and I think he named him, and he watched what he did, and so then we found a picture on Google, because we didn't want to bring him in. We brought a live thing in a couple times, a bug, and put it in a jar a couple of times for him to draw, but mostly it's easier for him to draw from a picture. So he decided he didn't like where the legs were, and he moved them, but that was his own choice. And then he just wrote praying mantis. Yes, he was either 6 or 7 when he did this. And this is so cute. This is his horseshoe crab. You can see the general shape of it. And he did the colors. He got a little tired with coloring, but he really enjoyed, yes, of his own observing. And then this was one of the first ones that we talked about, the position of the head and the tail, because he really, really was loving watching the mourning doves. He was just, oh, Mimi, there's mourning doves. Oh, there they are again. You know, and it's so great to see his excitement, because after a while, we see the same birds over and over, and it's like, oh, it's just a mourning dove. But then you see the excitement through the child's eye, and it just makes you excited all over again. So he did, so this is one that I helped him draw like really light, like a straight line. Just a straight line for the shape of the body, and then he drew just a circle and a neck. So, and then he tried to do the colors, which he can see colors. So that's his mourning dove. But then I had a very difficult time with the mourning dove because of the colors, and I feel like I'm not very pleased with. I mean, I like it; it's fine, but it's yet another one that I want to do again. Let's see if I can find it, because I saw so many colors, so many variations. I just had such a hard time. So, you know, it's just too many colors in there for me. I was trying too hard to capture the colors. But through doing this, I observed a mourning dove like I have never observed a mourning dove. Yeah, so we looked up about his things, and this is some other stuff that we saw outside. So, you know, it was a trial for me. It was a test. So, and I kept on putting more colors, and, you know, it's hard for me to mix. I'm going to talk about that. It's hard for me to mix colors. So let's see. What did we do next? He did a moth, a flower, and a cricket. That's what he drew, a moth, a flower, and a cricket. And you can see he's not afraid of color at all. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that. So then he drew, this is his tiger lily. And then he drew the pollen that we saw through the microscope. And that was actually a prepared slide. We have some prepared slides, and we make our own slides. And drawing what you see in the microscope is a really fun thing to put into your nature journal. So I did my lily. And Leah was saying she tries to do the Latin names. I tried to do that for a while, and even though I took Latin in school, I just found myself Googling too much trying to find the Latin names. And maybe when I do it by myself and I'm not doing it with the children, I might add that. I like that idea, but it's something I haven't been consistent with. But it's a fun idea. So I actually did a little bit of that. But so that's what we saw under the microscope, and that's his. And we do this together. We sit down at the same time so I can encourage him while he's doing it, and it's something that we do together. Let's see, what do we do next? Oh, look at that adorable hummingbird. Is that not the cutest thing? He is not afraid of color. Not afraid of color. So he encourages me to do colors. And then I decided, I saw some people that did, oh, look at his cedar waxwing with the yellow tail. I don't know what all this is, but this is what he saw. So I just love it. Yeah, microscopes are so much fun. So then I had seen a lot of people do this one. He wanted to do one in just pen and ink, so he got to choose the medium. So he did a wasp with just pen and ink. That was his own choice. We have a pocket microscope, but we have a really nice one too that I got at a great deal on Amazon. And I want a compound microscope if I can talk my husband into it. So I'll share my microscope one day. So we decided over right before Halloween, we had some pumpkins for harvest time out on the porch, and before we carved it, we decided we were going to diagram the pumpkins. So he had to put the face on his. Just diagramming. It was the first thing we'd ever really diagrammed. And this is his under the microscope. This is what he saw, so this is what he drew. It's very difficult to draw what's under the microscope. This is what it is. This guy right here, he has two little swirly. It's a rotifer. he has two little swirly heads, and we could watch this moving under the microscope and eating the algae. So it was very difficult to draw. So I just did an outline of the little booger and tried to, you know, because then again it's moving. It looks all blurry, and when you're focusing the microscope, some gets blurry and some doesn't. So this was his little, you can see that his looks very similar to mine with the little feelers that was eating. And those we collected, I want to share, we're going to go pond dipping again soon since it's getting warm, and share how we find critters under the microscope to look at. So let's see, we were running out of stuff to draw when it was yucky, and so we decided to look up some Google images for snowflakes because we had a few flakes here. So he tried to draw the shape of the snowflake. So that was his attempt. It was very good. I was very proud of him for attempting. Yes, the microscope is so much fun. This is his, and you can see like the character in his birds are progressing. That's his brown-headed nuthatch. You know, we watched one of his videos a little bit, and we're not there yet. One day we might stretch ourselves enough to, hold on, I'm grabbing a book. I'm sure all of you have seen this book. I think Allison shared it. It's lovely, and this was another book that made me think about drawing diagrams. And we decided we'd take one, so we just copied the tree one. We had been talking about this. This was connected to, I think we had a tree fall down or something, or when I started wood burning and he saw the inside of the tree of the woods, and we've got some we've got one that's rotting, an oak tree. And so it was connected to our observation and so we didn't just say, oh, we want to draw a diagram. It was connected to what we were discussing. That was difficult for me. That was a stretch. We had more. We looked at moss under our yard, in our yard. Let's see, did he draw that? Under the microscope, yeah, he's 7. He's 7 now by the time he did this. So this is, I love seeing the side-by-side comparisons of his work and mine, and how awesome his is. See his? So, and like I said, this was easy because it was mostly black and white. This was easier for me with my color blindness. So before I show you how I do my watercolors, which like I said in my Instagram post, I have no idea if it's right, but it's how I figured out how to do it on my own, which is just trying. So my boys, they say they can't draw, and see, that's great. That's great. My dad was much more colorblind. My boys draw really, really tiny. They think that they have no skill unless they trace a leaf. But they draw really, really tiny. Like this is one of my youngest son's birds from a long time ago. Now, I think it's awesome. It's just like the whole page, just tiny. And I asked him, whenever I asked him if I could show him this, I said, do you remember what kind of bird that is? And he said, no. And I said, well, you know, maybe if you'd have written down the name of the bird, you would remember. So, and then we'd go outside and I'd just say, yeah, probably. I'd just go outside and say, draw what you see, and he starts drawing the mailbox. And so I said, well, maybe let's draw what you see that's, you know, God-made and not man-made. So he did the robins in the nest. You know, so I think they're awesome. I mean, I think they're great. The only thing I would have asked of him more, I don't know if you remembered, I showed the oak tree. Look, it's like mine didn't even, like he experiments with shading, and you know, we've done just a little bit of shading, like doing the pencils and seeing how it's different. And this is his woodpecker. I don't know what on that date done means. He was just being silly. So this is his woodpecker and worm. And I've never done any art instruction with him. And okay, so they draw tiny. So he drew this, and I said, Alex, I can't see that, draw it bigger. So he drew this, and I was like, Alex, please draw it bigger, stretch yourself. So then he drew this. So that's the only instruction I gave him for that, was to draw it bigger. But he's like, now he actually labeled, like this is a house sparrow. Can you see it? And this is my boys that say I can't draw, but yet they will do this and make. So now, so this is 2 years ago, and now he's labeling it Vireo. So he would have been 12 at that time. And then, okay, I'll have to show you. They don't journal much, but remember that spiny orb weaver? Yeah, I think it's absolutely amazing. And so, and I'm glad that they do it, and they don't let their thoughts of them not drawing, being able to draw, which is not true because I think they can draw just perfectly. But they don't journal very much, and my next to the youngest, he journals a little bit more, but I've got to share with you, this is my favorite journal in his, like this is his daffodil. So he likes to go outside and sketch what he sees, so that's his daffodil. And one of his, I think that's a yellow-bellied sapsucker, he didn't label it. And this is what we saw under the microscope. He likes to draw what we see under the microscope. He likes that. Oh, and this is the saddleback. You can add more to it. Like I wanted to do this because there's so much more you can do. You can make it your own. And I'm just showing the different ones to say this is what they want theirs to be. And I want mine to be something different. I want to add color. They don't want, now he is more colorblind than I am. This one is slightly colorblind. This son is more colorblind than I am. So he really doesn't want to add color, but later on he did, no, the other one, my youngest, did stretch himself. So he will journal. See, he'll journal what he saw and draw the bird. And he likes doing that, but my youngest won't. So here it is. This is the journal of the spiny back orb, the orb weaver. He says, demon spider of death and orphan tears, eats souls, babies, anything that breathes, and monsters. Likes dark places and monsters. So he was being a little sarcastic with his journaling, a little bit imaginative with his journaling because he really hates spiders. So that is what he journaled about the spider, and I think it's just too awesome that he did that. So even though he is more colorblind than I am, he did. You see how he tested? Yeah, narrating. Creative writing was more what that is. Demon, spider, orphan, tears, something. So he stretched himself and added color after, my encouraging him. He might call it nagging, but my encouraging him to please just try. And once he tried, I was like, you've tried it. I just want you to try it. And if you like it, you like it. If not, you don't. And he added color. So then what we saw under the pollen, he added color there. So, it's just, they don't journal as much as I do, but after reading this book, I was thinking about, there's no way I could pass that. There's no way. After reading this book and thinking about other things we can encourage, we can enter into our science journal, not nature journal, I was thinking, you've got to study for this environmental science competition, so what can you put in there that would help you, because you're studying, you're reading, they're having to read this really dry, boring textbook for this class, so it's not anything like what they're used to reading for learning, so it's very difficult for them to plunge through this book and try to retain what they're reading for the competition, because we do the environmental science competition, but as a class and the other teacher, we expand it from the dry textbook by going on nature walks, by going on field trips and going to museums, nature museums. So we sort of liven it up. We make it more living, even though they need to study the textbook for the test. So I said, what can you do to add to your science journal that will help you with studying for the, where in the world is this? For the environmental science competition. So one son has to study aquatics. Oh, this, my son said that was his favorite one. Ideally once a week, but sometimes we'll do it more and sometimes we'll do it less. Sometimes we won't do it for 2 weeks and then do it 3 times the next week. So it just depends on what I take. Oh, here it is. Oh. So one son, the one that's less colorblind, really wanted to do soils, and he can see so he was drawing the soil color chart. And then there's other things he's going to draw in here, because I told them the act of drawing it will help you remember it, because you're making more. You're making it, like I said in the first part, you're making your mind. You know, see it and getting it from your mind. I tell them all the time, from your mind, through your body, out of your hand, and to the paper. It's just like written narration and written essays are. You know, with oral narration, you're just getting it out of your mouth, but with the other stuff, you've got to make it go down through your hand and out through your hand, through the pencil, onto the paper. So he drew this to help him, and my other son is working on a chart about he was like, well, I really think I need the food cycle, like what eats what eats what eats what, you know, down to the tiniest organism. So he just started so that's an example how you can take something other than nature to add into the science journal. So the last thing I want to share is, where's my journal? Oh, and we buy, we either go to, I like the spiral bound because it lies flat and it may not hold as longer as the hard bound. I think after I fill up a few spiral bounds, a few more, and I really get to my end goal of where I want to be in my nature journaling, I will probably go to hardback for mine when I'm done with the children. But we cut out magazine pictures and decorate it and make it our own. So, but if either I get a coupon and get a book from Michael's, and you saw I did watercoloring, and they're not watercolor books. You just don't use that much water. And I have a sheet of, it gets a little bit wrinkly if I did too much water, but I have this piece of cardboard that I stick underneath to let it continue dry and press it. So it's not really that bad, and this is almost full. Off and on the whole time, only diligently, honestly, Andy, only diligently for about the last 4 years. We've had a lot of nature journals come and go, but we haven't really made it our own and made it a treasure except for the last about 4 years. So we kept on trying different things. We kept on trying different journals. I tried using the marble notebook and cutting out the paper like she says to do in here. And but the spiral, I wanted it easy, cost effective, and I like to support small businesses. Yes, the pocket full of pine cones. So there's a family company, Miller's Pads and Paper, and they're a homeschool family that has a company that they sell art supplies and paper. And I see them at the conferences, and these spiral notebooks are $3.75, and I'm supporting a Christian homeschool family. I bought this already spiraled by Miller's Pads and Papers. This was only $3.75, and I buy several of these. It is 80 weight paper, 50 sheets, and I do watercolor in this, and like I showed you of charcoal. It's acid free, so I think that's probably the most important thing, is that it's acid free, so it's not going to yellow with age. So we get these, and then we decorate them. Yeah, like this is a Michael's one, but this is the same one. They decorate it and just put either contact. Yeah, we put acid-free contact paper on top. You can get I think you can get either lower or higher weight paper. Yeah, they're a sweet, dear family, and I'd rather purchase from them than anybody. But I have gotten stuff at Michael's like with the 40% coupon. Now they do carry hardbound nature journals at Miller's Pad and Paper, like the ones, not the ones with the pocket like the Moleskine, but just a hardbound sketchbook, but they are more expensive, so you can get that. So, practical. Okay, this is what I wanted to get to. I'm sorry if I'm rambling, but I told you when everybody's like, how do you do it? So I was like, what can I draw that I'd be able to draw over and over again? Because honestly, it takes me a long time to draw a bird because I'm learning. So I did mallard duck feathers. Isn't that beautiful? Thank you, Andy. That makes me feel better. That's when I'm like, watch the replay. You won't hurt my feelings if you leave. The mallard duck feather. These were given to me. I've seen mallard ducks, but I didn't collect these, and these were given to me for our school from a dear friend, Miss Judy. You've probably seen her with me on Instagram and our little creative outlets. So this is my process. So first I draw very lightly with the pencil, and you could even trace a feather. Very lightly, like very, very lightly with pencil. And then I go in with the micron, the number 1. The micron number 1. That's good. Well, this was, it took me a long time to get to this. I just started doing black ink a few months ago, and like I told them, I didn't add color. Last year was the first time I added color, or 2014 in the summer was the first time I dared to add color in my nature journal. So I do the pencil first, then I come in and do this very loosely, and then what I do is I use, because I haven't tackled dry brush, that's on my list, but you know, I'm taking baby steps. I use the Prismacolor watercolor pencils. And then I have to read them because I don't know if they're blue or gray or black. And so I was trying to I don't know if I got a good match or not, but I was trying to layer them. Yeah. So I'm going to show you, this has not been, I'm going to show you what it looks like whenever let me see if I can get one of my boys to come and hold this. I forgot to ask them. I'm going to yell, Daniel! Yes, they're used with water. That's what I'm going to show you. Daniel and Alex, one of you come here. This is my little cow. He journals with me. Isn't he adorable? He journals with me, and he has my water. When I get done, I pour the water in the plants. That helps me keep them alive. Keep the plants alive. I'm not good with plants. Can you hold this for me? Thank you. Okay. So, I'm going to show you what it looks like when you put, and I use a teeny tiny brush. So when you put the water to it, you see how it just spreads it out. Now I did dark umber here and some black because on the feather it's darker in the center and just spreads it out. So that's basically all you do. Start with the lightest and go to the darkest. And you see how it's spreading it out? I just think it's absolutely beautiful. Now see, I didn't put enough pencil there, so I can grab some from over here. And it's okay if you get out of the lines. So then, like here, I did the dark black. You see, I put too much. I was overzealous. But you live and learn. You see how it makes it look? It's just so beautiful. I just get a good, happy feeling when I spread out my watercolors. Let's see how good I did on this blue. Let's see what it looks like when I add. It's a little bit too royal blue to my eyes, but so That's enough. I'm going to hold this up and let you guys see it. So you can see what they look like. Whoop, it's dripping. Hold on. Just dabbed it with this. So you can see the difference between this is just colored with watercolor and then what it looks like with the water. It just blends together. So this is just like this. So I think I got this side pretty good. This side, it doesn't look like the same color to me, but I just couldn't figure it out. But I'm okay with that. I tried. I did my best. And so I'm okay with that. I wanted to, let them draw. Just let them doodle. I wanted to show you Carter's very first attempt. I made a mistake with not really instructing him that well with watercolor. I just explained it to him verbally and let him go. So this was his first attempt at watercolor pencils. So I told him that's awesome. And it really is. It's great for a first attempt. And that was before we watched the video about the shaping of the birds. That is a bird. But then I said, well, let's purposely do something where I'm going to help you through this. So then we attempted this one, and I told him, color it however you want to color it, then do the lighter colors first. So you see he did much better. He got a little bit out of lines, but he did much better with just a little bit of instruction. So, but he has decided that he prefers just the Prismacolor pencils for now. But if he wants to try watercolor pencils again, I'll let him, and I'll bring it up every now and then. Do you want to try watercolor pencils? So it's a process, and it's whatever they like. I am enjoying the watercolor pencils because I know that it's stretching me a whole lot with the color. And I enjoy color just because I can't see it that well. So I think that's all that I had to share. Does anybody have any questions before I sign off? And
I have a million questions.
Marco's home.
I have questions. What is this?
We are a nature journaling.
Nature journaling.
We are a modern day Ricky and Lucy. That's what we are. I drive him crazy.
She's Ricky and I'm Lucy.
So, anyway, I hope that this has been helpful to anybody. And as far as future scopes, when I do tackle dry brushing, I'll definitely share what I learned. I'm going to a one-day Charlotte Mason conference in May, I think, and I think we're going to do it. So I'm a little bit nervous about that. Thank you so much. I hope that I've just supplied other options and other ideas to weigh and encouragement to just start where you are and observe the first thing and just start where you are and let it be a journey. The conference is in Chapel Hill, and it's the Spring Lilies Gathering. I don't know what it is. I don't remember. My mind's just going blank. It's just going blank, but it's a one day. I'm so glad. And I want to see if you're on Instagram and follow me, let me know. Send me a message and say, I watched your scope and I'm going to do nature journaling and post because I want to see what other people are doing and I want to see other children enjoying nature journaling. So it can be as simple as my boy's little teeny tiny bird that they took time to. And not everybody is going to be, it's the same as here. It's H5 Manriquez, the same as here. Not everybody is going to be as passionate about natural history as I am, but, I didn't know someone was taking a picture of that. And that's totally okay. But even though my boys are not growing up to be, amateur naturalists or, as excited about nature, I know that they've grown up with an appreciation of God's creation. and they have learned the habit of observation through this activity and many other activities that we've done with the Charlotte Mason education. So it's all good. It's all good, and I think that one day their nature journals will be a treasure to them and to their children to look through. Can you imagine Carter when he grows up? You know, this is acid-free. When he grows up, to be able to show this and if we ever move from this house, he knows exactly what Mimi's house looked like. So for him to be able to grow up and show this to his children is just an amazing thought. I use a lot of encouragement from different websites. From Charlotte Mason Help is a good one. A Sabbath Mood Homeschool is a wonderful one. This is a very good place to listen to. My friends do a Delectable Education. It's a podcast. There's a wealth of information there. And also look at Leah Bowden's Catch account for the Charlotte Mason show. Leah V. Bowden. I think it's with the V. Let me see. Yes. Right here. Look at her Catch account. And there's a lot of periscopes about Charlotte Mason homeschooling. It's wonderful. So it's been really great hanging out with you guys here, and I've enjoyed sharing, and I hope to see some of you at Homeschool Happy Hour tomorrow. I think I'm going to share how we do an activity called Sketch Monday. I don't know if that's what I'm going to share. If I don't do it on Homeschool Happy Hour tomorrow, I'll do it another time. It's a little activity for just simple drawing that we do. We call it Sketch Monday, and we didn't do it this Monday because we were tired, so maybe we'll do it tomorrow and share it for Homeschool Happy Hour. Anyway, have a great Wednesday afternoon, and I hope to see some of you on Homeschool Scopes TV and on Instagram. Talk to you soon.